Today, I'm going to share with you what I think are the best investments to make right now in FC Mobile. There are 3 in total, and with that being said, let's get right into number 1, which is UCL cards. If you guys don't know, the UCL cards are all live, meaning that they're able to get a +1 overall upgrade on their base card if their team wins 2 out of 3 of the most recent match day fixtures. Now, what I mean by most recent is a couple weeks ago, the UCL matches went as part of the group stage matches. That was the first fixture. The second fixture is coming up this week, this Tuesday and Wednesday, I believe, and then the third one is in another 2 weeks. And the important thing to note here is that some of the teams that these players play for, they already won their first match day. Teams like Man City, Real Madrid, another one, Bayern, Arsenal, which means if their teams win the game this week, it means these guys will be getting a +1 overall guaranteed. Now, the overall upgrade almost always increases the price of these players because 1, you could now get a higher rated player in your team, boosting your team's overall. 2, it's better for stats. And 3, for some of these lower rated cards, you could now go from, let's say, an 83 rated card to an 84, and that allows you to be used in exchanges, which becomes very valuable. So with all that being said, I think one of the best investment opportunities right now is picking out players on teams that you think are going to get their second win this week. And once you've chosen those players, over the next day or 2, watch their price, try to pick up maybe one or a couple at the price that you think is reasonable, and hold on to them until game day. Now, it is really important to know that this is a big gamble because you're betting on the fact that the team is going to win. If they don't win, then they're not guaranteed an overall upgrade, so be very, very careful about how you go about it. For example, I'd love to pick up a Bellingham at around 30 million coins and bet on Real Madrid going to win, because if they do, then he's going to go up to a 94, and I think at a 94 he could be 35, 40 million coins. Another example would be someone like Saliba here. Great center back, under 1 million coins. If he goes up to an 88, he'll likely go up to maybe 1.5, maybe 2. I don't know, could be a bit of a stretch. But if you look at his stats, he would be incredible as an 88. But I say all this knowing it is a big gamble. So with that being said, let's now move on to the second investment that I think you could make that's a little bit less of a gamble. And that's investing in the high-rated meta players. I know you guys have heard me talk about these guys a lot. People like Samuel Eto'o, great striker in game. All you have to do is look at the stats, see how they play. They usually play really close to what their stats are. Hullet as well, you guys have heard me talk about him a ton. He's a very meta card in the game. Zico is an extremely meta card in the game. Ronaldinho is great. Yashin is great. All of these players here that are currently some of the best in their position. Now, it doesn't have to only be icons. It could also be players from the new event, right? It could be some of the welcome to FC Mobile players. But the reason why I say these high-rated meta players are a good investment is because we just went through a bit of a market crash and lull the past few days. I mean, a lot of the new event players are still really high because they are brand new. People are paying premiums for them. But every other card has gone down a bit or is about trending sideways. They're slowly creeping up in value. But the reason why I say I think they're going to go up in value over the next week or 2, let's say, is because now that the event has sort of settled, people have found the players that they want to go for. People have now more coins from new packs, exchanges, quests, events. People are getting more coins. People are now looking to buy bigger players, and especially now considering that we know we're not likely going to get many better players in the next week or 2. We don't have another huge event coming as far as we know. People are now going to go and spend all of the new coins that they just got on the best players in each position. And so just like every event that has come out, you could even see here on the graph for R9, you see he was increasing from 34.6 on the very far left hand side, was going up. We had new cards come out and rewards and packs come out. He drops down a decent amount. Then he moves back up. We have a new event or something comes out, drops down a little bit. Then he keeps working his way back up. He went from 34.6 all the way up to 66, 68 million in a matter of a month. But over the month, we have seen him drop a handful of times, and that's because new packs came out, new players came out, people were trying out to different people. But in the end, if R9 is still one of the best strikers in the game, he's going to be in high demand and he's going to be very valuable. So his price will adjust and will go up in the long term. And that applies for so many more players than just R9. I mean, Puskás is up to 23. He was at like 18 a couple days ago. He's incredible in game. He's a card that was to be expected to go up now that everybody has more coins. Oblak is a great keeper. He was down at like 36, 37. Now he's up to 41. And I personally think we're still on the way up. I don't think we've hit a peak. And of course, the higher you go, the higher the price goes, the less people could buy these cards, so the price increase starts to slow down. But if you're at someone who's a little bit cheaper, you will see that the price change is a lot more drastic. You can see Eusebio here has a huge swing up on his graph on the bottom left. I haven't tracked him really closely, but he probably went from like 9 million to 11 million in a day or two. Because he is cheaper, but people still want to buy him, he's going to see a more drastic swing. So this investment method goes across the entire board. You could go down to 88 rated cards, 89 rated cards that are good in game. What I'd say is find cards that you think their price matches or is even below what you would value them at. Pick up a copy or two, determine a price that you'd be willing to sell them at, and then watch their price over the next, let's say, 5 to 7 days, maybe a little bit longer. And as soon as they hit that price that you think you're ready to sell at, you'd like to take your coins, take your profit, and move on, liquidate. But with all that being said, there is one important thing to keep in mind. Just like with the UCL cards, there's always risk to everything. And that one thing to keep in mind is the fact that if EA out of nowhere start dropping, they start giving us free players like they did with the 90 Bellingham or the striker Haaland, understand that that will have an effect on the market. When that happened, when the Bellingham and Haaland came out, we saw center mids and strikers crash in price. It didn't last forever, but it will affect the price of those positions. The other thing, if for some reason EA drops a bunch of packs that are really good, they give out great players, you could buy them with gems so more people could get them. If that were to happen out of nowhere sometime this week, that will likely have an effect on the market. So that's why I say buy the players that you think will go up in value or are currently undervalued, and then watch their price closely. Keep an eye out on the game, on what's happening in the game, because that could affect the price of the cards. And so with that being said, investing in meta players for the near future is the second coin method or second investment. The third one is going to be, and you guys probably know this if you follow me, investing in players for exchanges. Now, as you can see here, we have these 3 exchanges for the new event, and they are very, very valuable, not only because you get players in them, but you also get the red tokens, which can be used towards the Maldini, and I assume eventually they'll give us blue tokens that can be used towards Zanetti. Now, because everybody wants to get a free Maldini or Zanetti, people are likely going to want to complete these exchanges to get at least those tokens, and then if you get a good player, it's a bonus. But with all that being said, the players required for these exchanges then become very valuable and a decent way to invest your coins. And the one that I would focus on is the 88 to 91. Now, we already did these, but they required an 84 plus rated defender, attacker, and midfielder. When the exchanges came out, these guys skyrocketed in value. Now this is very interesting to see though. So Mats Hummels was someone I bought tons of at 215,000 coins, and I sold him at, I think it was 330,000 coins. But as you can see, they have crashed right back down to that original price. Now, if we're assuming that EA is going to refresh those exchanges and keep the exact same requirements, 84 plus rated players, it now provides us a new opportunity to buy these 84 rated players all over again and try to profit from them going up in value when those exchanges reset and they come back out. Because everybody then will be in a huge panic to buy up these 84 rated cards to complete the exchanges, therefore driving up their price. Now, it does stretch across quite a few different players here. You could look at the gold players, right? That's one of the options, but understand the gold players or the base players likely don't have much supply, so it will be harder to buy a lot of them. You can go for the new event players, which are usually easier to get, but they are going to be more expensive because they are brand new and they haven't had their price ranges properly set yet. So usually the easiest ones to go for are the UCL cards because they're in plentiful supply. Any kind of promo card is usually fairly easy to go for. Now keep in mind, it's not just defenders. Like I said, it's going to be midfielders. These guys are at the 300, which is interesting. 260, they were all at about the 230, so they haven't crashed as hard. And attackers is a big one. I mean, Joselu here, I bought like multiple copies at 816. He went up to 1.3 million. Now he's down to 950. I don't know if 950 is a great price to buy him at, but I would keep an eye on their prices over the next 2 days up until Tuesday, because the exchanges will come out Wednesday. By Wednesday, some people will already start buying up cards for the exchanges. So I would always buy a day before then. Now, once again, this does come with risk because there's a chance that EA resets the exchanges but doesn't keep the same requirements. Maybe they make it 85 plus, and if that's the case, then 84 rated cards go down in value because they're no longer in demand. Or the other option is they just don't even release the exchanges again. The exact same outcome would happen. So that's important to keep in mind. The other opportunity you could go for is these one-off exchanges like the one on the left here that you could see the Mertens who gave out 60 tokens and 88 rated Mertens. In that exchange, you needed 80 plus rated attackers, but the key one to go for was the 80 plus rated Belgian players. And the reason why that was the one to go for was because there's less Belgian players in the game than there are attackers in general. Usually when you invest in the players required for these exchanges, you want to go for the players that have the least amount of supply on the market, because if there's tons of demand and not much supply, the price change will be a lot bigger. And we could see that in these players. I mean, I missed out on the opportunity of buying some of these guys. I messed it up. If you watch my videos, you know, but these guys were going for 160,000 coins and now they're at 550. You would have tripled your coins if you invested in these guys. And that's just looking at the 80s. If you were to go higher, you would have tripled your coins pretty much once again. Now, something to keep in mind is usually for these exchanges, the players that are the rating, that's the minimum rating, happen to be the ones that most people go and buy. And that's because people don't want to or don't think to look at an 81. If it says 80 plus, they think of only 80, not 81s, 82s, 83s. So while you can invest in the higher rated cards, understand that usually the ones that see the most drastic price difference, like we just saw here, are the ones that are the minimum rating for that exchange. And so this investment method can be used across anything during the entire game. When new exchanges come out, if you look at what's required, find the one that has the least amount of supply on the market and go and invest in it, you likely will make a good amount of coins. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is understanding if the exchange is good. This exchange here with the Mertens is very good because it gives you 60 of the red tokens. If it was just Mertens alone and no tokens, I don't think the demand for the cards would be as high because a lot of people have 88 plus rated cards in their team already. So it's important to understand that the demand for this exchange wasn't Mertens, it was the tokens, which is why the players for this Diego Costa exchange barely moved in value when he came out. It's because he's really not that good of a card. A lot of people have better cards than him, plus you have to pay 200,000 coins to complete the exchange. All around, it's a bad exchange, so I would not invest in these players. Now, the last thing I want to say about these cards is if you are going to go for the UCL cards, understand that I don't know when these overall upgrades will happen, if it's going to be after match week 2 or if it's going to be after match week 3 in the middle of December. But if Real Madrid win their game and Nacho Fernandez gets a +1 upgrade, keep that in mind because it now means that he's going from an 84 to 85, and therefore he's not going to be in similar demand for an 84 plus rated exchange that he would be as an 84 rated card. So that's a little bit more nuanced. I'd be careful with these UCL cards. Like I said, I don't know if they're getting their upgrade this week or if it's going to be 2 weeks from now. If it's 2 weeks from now, then these guys are safe for investing in exchanges. If it's this week, then it might be a little bit risky. Anyways, those are the best 3 investments in my opinion. I hope this video helped. If it did, please drop a like. If you're new, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.